Hi everyone, I have had a request to do a page from this book. This is Flower Mandalas by Colorya, but the technique that I'm going to show could be used for any picture really, whether mandala or not. So if you haven't got the book, it doesn't necessarily matter, although you won't be able to colour along precisely. Hopefully it will still be helpful to you. Now the particular page is this one here. I'm just going to fold back the book. Now when I did my flip through, I talked about the fact that here we have a line between two halves of the picture, and that I would potentially split the picture so that one half was monochrome, probably this bottom half, and one half was more colourful. And I was asked if I could demonstrate how I would do that, so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to come in a little closer now. We've got a lot going on in this picture, so it may not all get done. I might do a bit to show you, or I might split it between a few videos. I'll see how it sort of goes. Really, I haven't really properly planned. It's difficult to plan when you don't quite know how it's going to go. So I've got Staedtler pencils here because it's got the colours that I want. I'm going to start with my black. So this is number 9. Hang on, I haven't got my Staedtler list of colours, but I know 9, this is the black. Hang on. There we go, I'll be able to tell you the colours. If you want a Staedtler colour list, because they only have the number on the pencil, there's one in my Ko-fi shop. I'll try and remember to link to it in the description, but the link to my Ko-fi shop is there. And if you go to there and look at charts, you can find it. Right, let's make a start. So the bottom half under this line, this is the bit I'm going to do in the black, and I might use some grey as well. Now what's jumping out at me firstly is this bit here, which looks to me like a sort of border, and I'm going to do that in quite plain heavy black colouring. Now if you want it to really stand out, then a pen tends to be more vibrant and intense than a pencil, but I've struggled with pens on this paper. This paper is fabulous paper, very thick, pretty smooth but not too smooth, but because of this, the pens don't dry very quickly basically. So I tried using I think it was a gel pen of some sort, and it just didn't dry very quickly, and even the felt pens didn't, like water-based markers, they didn't dry very quickly, and so I ended up making a big smudgy mess. So I'm not very good at pens, so I decided to sort of abandon my pen idea. Now these pencils also aren't terribly vibrant because the Staedtlers are a little hard, so it's not going to be as dark and really stand out, but for me that's pretty good. That's what I wanted, and I'm going to do a few other areas like these circles. Now ideally with a circle, what I would normally do is try and make it a little darker on the edge than the centre to give it more of a spherical feel, but these are a bit too small to do that. But I am going to do all the circles like this. I'm just wondering about that one. I'm not really sure. That's like this part of the plant, and I'm not sure whether it's just a twisted vine or whether it's actually like a seed pod or something. I guess it's all open to interpretation really, as is most well, a lot of colouring books. Now while I'm colouring this black, now I'm going to do probably some grey as well, so I need to have a think, which I'm doing, about we have these. What I'm going to do is actually block in these and leave the centres white, these circular bits, is to have a think about what colours to use in the top half, because what goes with black and greys, well, black can go with a lot of things, most things in fact, but grey maybe not so much so. Now I think red is quite a nice colour to go with black and grey, but also pink is good. We're going to want some green. We've got leaves going on. I'm going to do them green because I like conventional colours. My other thought is this line here that goes across, on each end there's a leaf. How do we deal with that leaf? Do we do it half and half? Do we do it one colour? Do we do it something completely different? you know, what do we do with that? So that's another little thing I'm sort of thinking about as I colour away. And yeah, so I'm thinking now about greys. So I'm going to use some greys down here as well as the black. Now I think I want cold greys with the black. I think they go better than warm greys. Now in my Staedtler set, this is a Staedtler Design Journey pencil. All Staedtler's blacks are the same, so whether you're using a Ergosoft, a Norris, which actually isn't numbered but you would find the black, even an Aquarelle type, you know, that sort of thing, any of that would all be the same. But when we come to greys, you get different greys in different sets. So the very basic 12 set, I'm not sure if it even has a grey, so you might have to just work with your black. If you've got a 24 set, you'll have a grey. I think it's the 80, which is the light grey. This is in the Ergosofts. I don't know if the Design Journey is identical. You get a grey in the Norris if you've got the 32, 36, I think. No, I've got 24, yeah. Yeah, I've got a Norris. Oh, I think I've only got a Norris black. I've got that. Oh no, that's a grey. That's a Norris grey. I've got the black as well. I don't know what, it looks quite brownish. I don't know which one it is. But anyway, so I'm looking at, I've got in my set, I've got a cool grey, number 800. It's very, very pale. Looks almost white. So I'm thinking, probably won't use that. You know, I don't think it's going to show up massively. So I'm not. And then I have a Dove Grey. The Dove Grey is a bluey grey. I can show you actually, let's put them there. Here's my swatches. So the Dove Grey is number 83. It's a bluey grey, it's a cold grey. It's quite an attractive grey. I really like it actually. So there's that option. Then below it we have the light grey. That's the one you tend to get, the number 80 as I said, that's the one you might have, most likely to have. It is quite cold, so I think it would probably work. Now the warm grey, number 85, you can see the brown in the colour. I can anyway. I can hear such strange noises. Anyway, getting distracted. So the warm grey is no good, and the grey even looks a bit like a Payne's grey. It's slightly purpley. I don't know if you can see that in there. I can put it a little bit closer for you to see. So this one is the black. This one looks quite purpley. This one looks brown. That one's fine. That one's fine. And although this one's fine, it's quite silvery and pale. So I think rather than going for the bluey grey, I think I'm just going to go for the light grey, number 80 for my greys. I'm going to continue with my blacks. I think I am going to just do every circle. Now you can see my thinking is quite random. I'm sort of just doing it in little bits as it calls to me, really. It's there's not no, well, I say there's no rhyme or reason. I think there is somewhere in my head, but it's not me going what's going to balance, what's going to look right. Just having a go. Just put some pencil down. So yeah, I'm also, so if I'm thinking, am I going to do red or I'm going to do these bits. Am I going to do red or pink? I could do a different colour with black, as I say it matches a lot, but I think with the grey, I quite like to do red. It's my school uniform, red and grey. When I was at primary school, navy blue and gold, with grey as well. But in secondary school, which is the school you go to once you're 11, you're sort of second school, I guess. We had red jumpers and grey skirts. If anyone's local, they'll know which school it is. They still have the same uniform. So light grey, number 80 is what I'm going to grab now. There it is. Number 80. So I'm going to start with this centerpiece and then maybe just work out. Now here I think I'm going to put down fairly significant layer here, just layering it up and then fade it towards the edge. I'm going to cover all of this bit with grey. I am going to leave some white in some places, but these bits are going to be white, so I want this bit to be full of grey. That makes sense. Yeah, nobody liked the old red jumpers. Oof, my. Well, you were instantly recognisable which school you went to, but I guess the school badges are a bit of a giveaway as well. And, there's actually a school in the town I live now, which isn't the town I grew up in, isn't it? Very nearby. And there, sorry, I shouldn't keep moving it. These flower centres I'm going to do actually in black. Okay, so I've got my black. Yeah, they've got maroon jumpers and a stripy blouse. I think that stands out quite a bit too. But yeah, we didn't like. I don't think I've ever worn a red piece of clothing since. It's not quite trauma. It's just dislike. Ugh. But my poor boys, actually, their school uniform in primary school, they could wear a white polo shirt with a bottle green sweatshirt, or they could wear a bottle green polo shirt. In the end, I bought the bottle green polo shirts because they washed so much more easily than the white. The white, I just couldn't keep them white. So I moved away from white, and then when they started secondary school, they had white. I was like, oh. So I used to buy a lot of whitening powder and twice a week do a whitewash with just their tops and whitening powder. I don't have any white clothes because they just go grey. So we did that. Oh my. And their jumpers were royal blue, which is pretty hideous, I thought. But actually, my son said he really liked his PE kit. They were royal blue and gold. He said he liked it because the polo for his PE kit, he said, was really comfortable, so it wasn't so much about the colour. But our PE is odd because these days children in schools in this country, here we have a bit of a stripe. I'm actually going to do this one first rather than that one because that's part of one. I want to think about how I want it to look. I think I'm going to do a dark, light, dark, light. So I'm going to put more layers on this one. I'm not going to do anything and then just a light bit here. I'm not going to shade it or anything. I'm just going to do more layers on this one. So yes, nowadays kids wear polo shirts as their main uniform sort of thing. In my day we wore a proper shirt, you know, a blouse, and then we would wear a polo shirt for PE. And they would wear a polo shirt for PE in secondary school, but they also wore it for their main part of their uniform. It's very odd. Things have changed. Some things haven't changed. Girls still like their skirts too short. In our day, you'd have to have a skirt so that if you knelt down on the floor, your skirt touched your legs, so it was that long. And teachers would do uniform checks. These days, it's exactly the same. But what we used to do was we would have the right size skirt because our parents would get told off if we didn't. But we would roll it up after the uniform check. Just roll the waist round a bit to make it shorter. We'd all do that. Except the only thing was there was a pocket in the skirt quite near the waistband. So if you rolled it up too far, you couldn't unzip your pocket. So you had to be a bit careful. The pockets were really good. Pocket with a zip in a girl's skirt. It's unheard of. It's amazing. Anyway. So, but I noticed in my boys' secondary school, the girls did exactly the same. In fact, before they started, there was no fixed skirt uniform in the sense that you could just wear any grey skirt. and some of the girls, their skirts barely covered their bottoms, and I was like, oh my, it's not good, is it? And they brought in a rule that you have, I mean, the skirt length was specified, but it's very difficult to enforce that, particularly as it was the form teacher's responsibility to do that, and if they're a male form teacher, it's a bit awkward, isn't it? So anyway, they changed the skirt to make it better, so they had pleats in it, so if you try to roll it up it looks silly. Of course they still do, and they all hate it. But then I don't think people, I miss those two, look, can do that with the black. I don't think schools choose their uniform based on wanting the children to like it. They definitely don't. And it's probably quite a new thing actually for those of you now. These in here, we've got some stripes going on as well. I'm going to do the same thing, so light and dark. So yeah, in America most schools don't have uniforms, do they? And I think I like the idea of a uniform, even though I hated wearing mine and I didn't like it. The fact that there was no fashion, well, there was in shoes and coats and bags, but it meant that, you know, what you wore wasn't quite so important. You also don't have to choose something every day, which would have taken ages. So anyway, that was, of course, hairstyles as well. You know, there wasn't a big rule on hairstyles. You had to tie your hair up if it was longer than shoulder length. I think it's particularly for PE and science, which makes perfect sense. Now we have these sort of leaves. Now I've noticed that this is actually this, so it's part of this plant. So it makes me feel tempted to do it in the grey, but I'm going to start with this one while I decide. I'm just going to sharpen this pencil. It's easier to get more colour down if it's sharp. Now for here, I'm going to go a bit darker here and lighter towards the tip of the, I think it's a leaf, like that, and just do the same on the other side. Now if you've got a black and you haven't got a grey, then you could still get these different tones by doing more or less layers of your pencil or pressing harder and lighter. Now I don't recommend changing pressure. I mean, I do a little bit, but it's better to layer up than push down hard, or else you spoil the paper. Although this paper's thick, I think you could still indent it if you push too hard, especially with a very sharp pencil. You need to just be a little bit careful. And I know it's interesting because some people find they're too heavy-handed, some people find the opposite. I was always the opposite when I first started colouring. Everything was very pale. I think it was partly because of my confidence levels, you know. Hadn't coloured since I was a kid. Looked at the beautiful artwork, wasn't sure, you know, what I could do with it. And then, you know, my confidence grew. My strength in my hand also grew. I got better pencils, all sorts of things, and then suddenly I was a little bit too heavy-handed. So I have to just give it some thought as I go, really. So it's something you have to just practice. And I know some people start off very heavy-handed and want to be less. And you know, it's just practice. And, you know, we all improve with practice, whatever level we are at, wherever we start. I think there are a lot of people who feel that they're not very good, and I think that's quite sad because it's not a competition, you know, it should be about having fun. We're not trying to make pieces of artwork that we can sell or display in a gallery. We aren't allowed to do that with our colouring because it's not our original work. You know, the drawing doesn't belong to us, the copyright. It should just be a fun activity, and it can be a learning opportunity as well, which is nice. But you know, and it does feel nice when you can see improvement, but just practice can help you to improve. But we will have off days. There will be days when it just doesn't go as planned, doesn't look how you wanted it to look or whatever, and we just have to move on from those days. I had a picture yesterday I was doing, and it just didn't look very good. It will be in my completed pages, you will get to see it, but the way it was drawn, I had an idea, but it just didn't excite me in the way that some pictures do, and so the idea I came up with probably wasn't the best idea, and my execution wasn't so good. You know, happens. But it's a book that I've got a few books where I like most of the pages, but there's the odd few pages that are just not quite so good for me, you know, and I just want like finishing books, so I just do them anyway. And I think sometimes it's a really good learning experience to do a page that maybe you wouldn't be so keen to do. And if you've got limited time and loads of books, then by all means just do the pages you like the best. But, well, I guess we're all in that situation really. But when I'm coming towards the end of a book, I just want to get all those pages done and finish it, because the sense of finishing something for me is really good. I'm still trying to decide what to do with that leaf. I think I will do it grey, just because it's part of this plant and it isn't part of that plant. Yeah. The sun's coming in and out underneath my blind, making the page change colour. There we go. Hopefully it's all quite clear. Anyway, you can see my really scruffy writing on my list. I've never been very neat. I think it was interesting. I was talking to my sister just earlier, and she was saying how we do things really quickly, both of us and my mum. And I think that means that you get things done, which is brilliant, but you can be a bit slapdash, you know. So it means you might rush something a bit or not be so neat as you could. So my writing here is not that neat, but it isn't important. It's just, this isn't for you. Well, you know, it's for me. My my typed up chart, which has got the colour names on, is typed because I know I can't write. Well, I can write, but you know what I mean. It's much easier for you to read and clearer, etc. So it's typed. So that's how I realised that I can't, you know, handwriting it wouldn't be good, so I typed it. So we're nearly done. This has been a lot of fun. Now I know for some people colouring in the same colour a lot can be a bit dull, and that's fine, just don't do it this way, you know, but it's just a different idea for pictures. Now I'm trying to think of what I'm going to do up here with the red, because I can't just use one red. I need to use a bit of a mix of colours, I think. Now can I do the flower middles in yellow, or will it go with the grey? Does it need to go with the grey? That is another question in my head. So I'm just thinking it through really. I'm thinking, you know, I don't think oranges would work, but let's look at my sheet. Have a look at my swatch chart and think while I'm doing it. I'll put it there so you can see it too. So I'm thinking not yellow, maybe purple and red will work. The sort of dark violet-y colour. I think blue would work. And green. I said I was definitely going to have green, but what type of green? Well, I'm thinking not the olives. They're not going to work. I don't think. I think we're going to need something, maybe these the lime green and the willow green, perhaps the sap green. Maybe those greens, not the sea green. I think it's a bit too bluey, although, yeah, it's almost blue, to be honest. I don't really use that for a leaf. So yeah, maybe more the mid greens. Now this could be a bit neater. I'm just going to tidy a few bits up, but there is our bottom half essentially done. Now I'm thinking I might leave this and come back and do this as a two-parter. Just going to erase where I went out of the line there. I think I'll do it as a two-part video. So I'll leave you guessing as to what I'm going to do with the rest of the colour tomorrow. But have a think yourself. What would you do? Would you do red? Would you do pink? Would you do yellow, blue, green, purple? What would you do? Have a think and see whether I do a similar thing to you or not. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, as I say, tomorrow I'll have the second half, so come back then for that one. But for now, thank you so much and happy colouring.